A big win on Saturday. It made it 11 matches unbeaten for the Addicts. Tonight is our final night under the lights here at the Valley, and Nathan Jones's side will be looking for another 3 points. Wigan visit today, and Sean Maloney's team sit 2 points ahead of the Addicts in 13th. It has been an impressive season for Wigan, who have done well to get over the early season points deduction. However, they've won just once in their last 5 games. With less than 45 minutes until kick-off, let's take a look at what we have coming up. We will hear from Thierry Small, who visited a community trust holiday course earlier this week. We will discuss who we think will be Charlton men's first team player of the year. And we'll take a look back on what looks to have been a productive January transfer window. And it is a warm welcome to the Valley. Wherever you're tuned in from this evening, it's a pleasure to have your company. A quick reminder that this is a midweek game, which means due to broadcasting rules, we can stream across the UK and worldwide. So if you haven't purchased your matchday streaming pass yet, then do head to the club website to do so. I mentioned that great win on Saturday afternoon. I got to enjoy that alongside Kevin Lisbie, who is here again with me tonight. And Curbs is back off of international duty to join us as well. A pleasure to have you both here. Curbs, nice to be alongside you again. How have you been?
All right. I'm looking forward to it. Missed a good game, didn't I, Saturday?
Yeah, he really did, didn't he, Kev? Especially the first half.
Yeah, I thought it's one of the best games I've seen since I've been here. A lot of energy. We spoke about it before the game. There seemed to be a really good vibe around the place, and the boys reacted and got a good win.
Curbs, the Addicts are now 4th in the Form League based on the last 10 games of the season. How important is it for Nathan Jones, now he's reached that 50-point marker, to say to the players, this momentum is our marker for next season?
No, I think it's a real plus. If we can end the season with this sort of form, it makes us more attractive in the transfer window, you know, because I think people from the outside can see that something's happening, you know, great running, and looks as if we're going places. And I think that's very important in terms of recruitment. And secondly, I think it's given Nathan the opportunity, I think, to say to the board, you know, this is what we've got, but if I can just get that one, Kevin Lisbie, this one, that one, I think we've got a chance. And, you know, it's all about confidence. And I think the running and the way we're playing at the moment, but the running, if we can carry on, will give everyone the confidence that we can do well next year.
You mentioned a key word there, Curbs, confidence. And for many, the appointment of Nathan Jones was a huge coup for Charlton Athletic. But for him as a manager, having had that long spell out of the game, this will have done his personal confidence the world of good to know that he's come in so quickly, identified the problem areas, and made Charlton, who, let's not forget, back at Christmas and New Year, looked like to have a soft underbelly, a really difficult team to beat.
To be fair, we're looking over our shoulders, weren't we? And getting a little bit worried. No, I think Nathan, the thing I like about Nathan is he wanted to come here. He obviously has left, I think, Southampton, and I know that he had to make a big decision in certain terms to take another job. And, you know, instead of waiting on doing this and doing that, he came to us. He wanted to come to us, and he saw it as a big chance. I'm sure he got offered other opportunities after he left Southampton, but this is the one he's took, and I think that's a really good sign.
I think he said in his first interview with CharltonTV, Kev, that it was the project. He's a manager that likes to be at a club for a long while. Looking at the project as it is, what do you think he's learnt so far? And now that safety is pretty much in grasp, what do you think he'll be looking to glean from the next couple of games? Yeah,
I think we speak about next season and the players that he sort of wants on board, and I think he's learned that there are a few players in this team now that he can trust, especially the youngsters, the boys that seem to be coming through the youth seem to have a real good culture about the club. They seem to understand the club and the values of the club, so that's quite important for a manager, to have younger generation coming through, and obviously having those he can trust. I think he needs a few more senior players. We spoke about it last time he's here, and I think we need a few more senior players in this team now, just to get us over the line and those difficult months of the League One, should we call it. A few older heads just to see the younger ones through, but I think he'll be impressed in what he's seen. And obviously, was it 11 games unbeaten? So it's definitely talented.
I think we've been saying sometime the clubs need settling down. You know, owners, chief executives, managers, sporting directors, everything else. But I think there will be a bit of activity because the squad's so big, you know, and he's saying he needs to trim it, but he's got to trim it and bring in a bit more quality. So I think we're going to get a bit of a summer once again. But I think after that, perhaps it's really going to settle down.
We were saying off air that we almost don't want the season to end. It's been a really tough one. It has been up and down, but at the moment we're in a really good place. The mood outside at the Valley is really optimistic. Nathan will be wanting to kind of bottle that, and I think he mentioned about getting his business done early in the summer as well, which will be important.
Yeah, I think it's important to recognise these players have earned that as well, though. As Curb said, at one point we were looking over our shoulder in terms of clubs catching us and us going into the bottom three, but I think the players have dug in, they've implemented the ideas the managers asked him to do, and they've bought into his style of play and the energy that he requires from the team. So yeah, the players deserve a lot of credit for what they've done, and now we can sit here in this point of the season and we can be relaxed, and as you say, we walk in there today and there seems to be a buzz around, everyone seems to be in a good mood, and so they deserve, because I thought the last game we were really good.
And what was really nice as well, sandwiched in between a rather boring 0-0 against Stevenage and that game on Saturday, was our family fun day, Curbs. 2,000 odd people turned up. It was really, really good. And when you coincide a good bit of form, events like that where the board are showing their commitment to the support base and community, and then the season tickets building, I'm told the figures are pretty good for that. It's a nice little mix to go into that summer break.
Yeah, as I say, the feel-good factor is coming back, and I think Nathan has spoke a lot about playing here. We had a lot of away games, and suddenly we've got these home games coming up. And I've heard previous managers talk about the atmosphere here, but they don't know what they don't know what they don't know what the atmosphere is like. Yeah. And I'm not being facetious there, they just don't know. And we need to pick up, we need to do a lot better to get the fans back and to get that atmosphere, because it does make it a difficult place.
I think it's important to mention the owners are doing a lot of things behind the scene as well now to try and get almost the old players back in with the new players, and try and get that culture and, as you say, that good feeling about the club. So it'll be interesting. I don't think many owners are doing what the owners are doing right now, and you can see the benefits of it.
That's really encouraging to hear, isn't it? Because this football club has had a lot of success in the past, and I know you don't always want to be looking back too much and dwelling, but there's so much harness, so much good knowledge, so many good people around the football club, and it's great to hear that, and that's going on behind the scenes. Well, shall we take a look at the starting 11 for Charlton Athletic? The team news is in, and there are some changes as well. Tanai Watson coming back into the side after injury, and on the bench as well, Connor Wickham. So it's Kane Ramsey coming out, Tanai Watson coming in. Not too many changes, Kurs. I think many of us were thinking, well, you know, will there be wholesale changes? Will Nathan want to see other players? But seemingly not with that 11.
No, and I think that, you know, when you're winning games and playing well, everyone wants to play. And, you know, I think he's looking at next season. Obviously, the players know there's going to be some changes here. They obviously know that, and the squad's too big. But there's players now sitting on that bench who think they should be in the first team, which is what you want. And there's players that are playing in the first team looking over their shoulder. So like, you want that competition. I'm just looking at the bench. There's not many benches like that.
No.
You know, and there's a few left out.
Think of the names that are left out, Kev. Like really, really quality players. We saw Freddie Ladapo and Tayo Eden. Lloyd Jones doesn't feature. It's we're spoilt with fantastic players in our squad.
We spoke about it off air, didn't we? A lot of these players, and even as Curb said, even looking at that bench, would walk into most League One teams. So we're in a good place at the moment, and listen, I didn't think it would do much changes. I didn't see the point of it. Obviously, I see Watson coming in because obviously the injury, but you look at that midfield three, they've been so good. Why would you want to change it? And I know it's interesting to see what happens with Dobson, but obviously Anderson and Coventry at the moment, they're building up a good relationship, and I look forward to seeing them play.
On Saturday, Curves, we were talking a lot about the midfield and how important in the past it has been to the teams that Nathan Jones has successfully built. Dobbo had another great game, a particularly excellent 65 minutes as well, which will be started all the kind of questions about whether we can keep hold of him next year. But interestingly, Connor Coventry, they've got a really nice synergy there. Croy Anderson playing behind the front two really helped create and brought a lot of energy, which is really important, because I don't know what you think, Curbs, but Kev was saying about how important it is to get Alfie May as high up the pitch as possible.
Yeah, I think that Nathan has demonstrated he likes athletic players, people who can run and can get around the pitch. And, you know, I think that Dobbo and Coventry. I mean, there was a couple of weeks ago, Coventry was sitting up in the stand. You know, so he's treating everybody the same, but there's one common denominator there, and that's Dobbo. He's played in every game. So yeah, I mean, I'm one. I've spoke a lot about Dobbo, and I'll say it again. I find it very difficult to understand if he leaves here in the summer, especially where he's not. I don't know the ins and outs, but especially where he's supposedly going to. You know, so let's wait and see. I think Nathan stopped the early move, didn't he? And now he's the captain. You know, so let's see what happens.
And also, I think Nathan was keen to point out in his post-match interview as well, Kevin, what a really good technical footballer George Dobson is, because sometimes his work rate and the way that he makes those recovery runs and those sliding tackles give away from how clever he can think and distribute the ball as well. He's that all-round midfielder. Yeah,
we go back to, I know it was against Cray Valley, but that goal he scored against Cray Valley was a real good goal, and it showed that he had class. It was the first time I commentated on the game, and I was really close to him. And his movement, he's a leader. He brings so much to this team, and you can understand why the manager, despite everything that goes on and around him, continues to play him. You can understand, it'll be a really good example for Anderson as well in the team. So I understand why he's in the team, and I think if he doesn't play, I think we will see a different Charlton.
But I think he does go unnoticed, a lot of the stuff. Everyone talks about his tackling, recovery, but he receives balls in really bad areas. Yeah. He knows what's going on around him, you know, and I think, I'm not being funny here, but if you put him as a number 10, I think he'd be getting in the box trying to nick a goal. Yeah. It's just that he can't get in there from where he is because he's doing so much. But Coventry, who likes to play there as well, may give him a little bit of a lease of life. Now, George, for me, I've said it on plenty of occasions, I think he will get in our squads. Yeah. He will get in our squads because he may have to sit on the bench. No.
But he'll be in the squad.
He'll be with us.
But I really like the synergy and chemistry that Coventry and Dobson are building. I think they really complement each other nicely, and hopefully they'll go on to do so again over the 90 minutes. We've got your WhatsApp questions coming in already, and if you are tuning into Charlton TV for the first time, I don't know where you've been all season, but you'll know that we like to know what the temperatures are like and where people are joining us from across the world. So we've got David Doyle watching in Grenada, currently 31.5 degrees with blue skies and hot suns. Wishing you all a great evening and hopefully another 3 points. Thank you for the message. Best of luck tonight from Walshy in sunny Spain, 27 degrees on the golf course. That is fantastic. Oh, brilliant stuff. And we've got Dave from Salt Lake City as well, who's saying that he thinks Alfie May will be the player of the year. We're going to come on to talk about that later on in the show as well. Shall we move on? Because we've got so much to get through before kick-off, and our women's team have a fantastic run of fixtures coming up. They are pushing for promotion out of the Barclays Women's Championship into the Women's Super League, and it is a very, very close race at the top. The international break has just been. Karen Hills' side are in action. They go to Vicarage Road to face Watford, but their final home game of the season, which could be huge, it could potentially be a title decider, we have yet to wait and see. It's going to be played here at the Valley on April the 28th. So please, if you want to come down and show the girls your support, head to the Charlton website to purchase your tickets. Well, on to some updates now, and men's first team season tickets are on sale, with supporters able to maximise savings by purchasing at a Phase 1 pricing before 11:59 p.m. on Friday, May the 10th. Adult season tickets are available from as little as £310, which equates to just £13.48 per game, making them among the most affordable in Sky Bet League One. And if that isn't enough, let's take a look at this.
Something. We want them to show that they're right with us. And then we will give them a team that they can be proud of.
Makes you want to play again, that. I was just looking at the manager celebrating like that, and I could never imagine you doing that.
I remember we went up.
What was the most? Can you remember your most sort of out there celebration, Curbs? Any particular moments that you really savoured?
When Kevin Lisbie got his hat-trick. When he got his third goal against Liverpool.
That was it. Did you do like a Mourinho style down the touchline?
Yeah. He just came up to me and hugged me. That was it. That was your video. It wasn't even a hug. It was a half hug.
Should have had 4. No, I didn't get too carried away, did I, really?
Never. No.
I think it's so hard. Like, I was gutted, Curbs, because I didn't get to see the Steve Evans versus Nathan Jones on the sidelines because he had a suspension, didn't he? I was just really looking forward to watching them go toe to toe. But how hard is it when you're a manager in the technical area sometimes? Were you always quite calm? And
there's only a couple that I didn't get on with. I said one the other day. I mentioned these clubs, so I won't do it again. But no, most managers get on with each other. We know how difficult it is. And listen, you might be phoning them up for a bit of advice on players. You know, if anyone phoned me, if I had a player that I was interested in, and he's another club now, and you tell them the truth, and you'd like to have that sort of relationship. So most of the managers get on.
It's quite interesting here as well. The two dugouts are quite far apart as well. So there's some.
It's a good idea, actually.
Yeah, some clubs are right next to each other.
Well, whenever I do pitch side duties, I'm normally placed in the middle, and it's fascinating. And what you do here is the poor fourth officials. Worst job in football, don't you think?
Yeah.
You're not even accountable to the decisions, but you just have to balance it with those next to you.
I think that won't be wide enough if Arteta ever comes in.
For all his staff, hey? Well, look, the next season is quickly approaching, and before we know it, we'll be back here at the Valley. And there are some hospitality packages that you can also make the most of as well. You can visit the club website to find out more. I actually popped over there earlier on today, and the food smelled incredible. So if anyone's over there watching this now and fancy sending us over free curries, then we would really enjoy it.
Well, I went over there because Alan Ryder, sponsor RSK, he's over there and he's scoffing away, and it looked really nice. And there was a spare seat, but I only had 10 minutes.
Well, if you can hear our pleas in the boardroom and in the hospitality areas, we'd love some of that. But let's move on now, because there is a Charlton Athletic supporter called Nick Hurst who has been doing some incredible fundraising and to raise awareness for a really important charity. And that fundraising is taking place ahead of our game against Cambridge United this weekend. I caught up with Nick earlier on. Nick, you are a big Charlton Athletic fan. Firstly, tell us, where does your love of the football club come from?
It stems from family, really, and living around local. Like, my dad had a season ticket, so then I got a season ticket, and then ever since I've been coming down the Valley, started going away games, and it's a bit of an addiction now, really, to go every Saturday.
You have a very long walk coming up. Can you talk us through what you're doing?
Yes, so I'm going to be walking with my mate Josh from the Valley to Cambridge United this weekend to watch the game, hoping to raise money for the Alzheimer's Society, so it's going to take us 2.5 days to do. To raise as much money as possible, really.
That is absolutely incredible. And this is the 3rd season that you've done it. Can you explain how it has gone previously?
Yeah, so 2 seasons ago, I did Cambridge again. Wasn't the best. I was a bit battered after. Planning wasn't, could have been better. Last year I did it to Ipswich, and the planning was a lot better. I felt a bit more fresh and stuff at the end. But I did it both years. We got through it in the end. Motivation, grit and stuff, and then hopefully this year can be even better with some better planning and stuff like that. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it.
Now, you're doing all of this for a really important reason, for a very important charity that's close to your heart.
Yeah, so I did it for the Alzheimer's Society for the 3rd year again. My nan and great nan both passed away after suffering with the disease, so it's close to my heart, and that's why I chose to do it the 1st year, and then sort of just thought I'd do it again, and then this year I thought I'd do it again as well, so it might become a yearly thing. We'll see how it goes next year. Well,
absolute credit to you, and I know there'll be Charlton supporters listening to this wanting to know how they can support you, how they can donate, so where do they need to head?
So I've got a Just Giving page set up. It's www.justgiving.com/page/Away Day Walk 2024, and that should bring up my page. If not, just go into Just Giving and search up Away Day Walk 2024, and you'll be able to see me there, and you can donate, and that'll go straight to the Alzheimer's Society.
Brilliant stuff. Well, Nick, thank you for your time, and put your feet up for the next couple of days.
Yes, thank you very much, Charlotte.
Fantastic to hear from Nick there. Curbs, a really passionate young man doing an incredible thing for a really important charity.
I remember him doing, I think he went to Ipswich.
He went to Ipswich, we spoke about that. We said about what hurt more, the defeat or your feet?
We might have got me M11, mightn't he? Is that the way he's going?
Oh, goodness knows, goodness knows. But he's taking part in a walk to Cambridge. Could you do that? Do you reckon, Kev?
I've just about walked up these stairs. I've just about literally walked up these, like without my knees hurting. So I'm not a walker. I'm more of a runner. I think anything slow nowadays is painful from the knees. So look, fair play to him, man. It is incredible.
Nick was saying as well when he did the same exercise last season how it was incredible to see the Charlton supporters backing him and the fundraising page. So if you've got any change that you can spare to support him in that fundraising endeavour, then please do so.
I imagine we'll have a lot of fans at Cambridge at the weekend.
To greet him.
To greet him as he comes in.
Definitely, and I'm sure he'll feel all of the support on social media and stuff like that. There's one thing about this fan base, and they do all club together and support one another, which is brilliant. And that is because we are a community club. And on that note, earlier this week, Thierry Small paid a visit to one of our very popular holiday courses. Let's take a look.
Yeah, it's been really good to, interact with the kids, and they're asking me a few questions and just sharing that inspiration. Hopefully it can inspire a few of them to, enjoy football and hopefully one day get a career out of it. I used to do like little football camps and stuff like that, so when I see it, it's like I was there one day, so it was it's nice to see, and hopefully I could have inspired a few of them. That's something that I've really noticed since being here. We had a family fun day yesterday, which was nice to be a part of as well. So I'm really getting that community feel and that sense of, that togetherness, which is only going to help us as well on the pitch, because we're not just playing for ourselves, we're playing for other people. So, it's great to be a part of, and it's nice.
Was that? Thank you, Thierry. So sweet. Kev, did you ever pay any visits to holiday courses like that when you were a player?
Yeah, we had to do it all the time. I think it was actually part of our contract. I think so. I enjoyed doing it anyway. There was some that done it more. Paddy was there all the time, weren't he?
But it was when we all was there when Jason just took over. Yeah. So we all got involved.
It's always been. I've spoken about this so many times. It's embedded in the club. It's who we are, and it's important that we get those young boys there to understand the foundation of the club and what it's about.
Yeah, absolutely. And it must be really nice when you're a player to go and put some smiles on faces and to get that kind of level of adoration that Thierry received there.
One of them walks up and gives you a bit of stick.
Exactly.
My dad says this. My dad told me to tell you this.
Yeah, can you imagine? I think one of the questions that universally gets asked is Messi or Ronaldo. I think when any player does any kind of player visit, that is always the question they get asked. But if you do have any little ones who are interested, then do keep an eye out on the Community Trust social media channels and also their website as well, because there are some courses coming up over the summer holidays, and you just don't know. You don't know what Charlton Athletic player you might bump into while you're there. Now, moving on next, today's game is a rearranged fixture, so it's a slightly smaller list of activities going on in League One this evening. We're going to take a look at them now. There they are. So Blackpool will be looking to make a late playoff charge and will need 3 points against an equally desperate Fleetwood Town, who will be looking to escape relegation. Bristol Rovers and Reading is a relevant game for us, with Rovers a place above Charlton and the Royals a place below in the league. Cheltenham Town need a win against relegated Carlisle United, while Leyton Orient will be looking to build on a big win on Saturday against Exeter City. Stevenage's playoff dreams look just about over, but a win against Barnsley would give them a tiny, tiny chance to make it. Curbs, this really is the business end of the season, and every 90 minutes is really significant. How pleased are you that for us, there isn't necessarily that amount of pressure going on?
Well, I think I'm just looking at them fixtures. Barnsley came here the weekend, in the playoff area, and they had a great away record as well. But they've got another tough game there. But Leyton Orient is a team that surprised me. After seeing them here the first game of the season, they've done ever so well to be where they are. He's done a good job.
And for Stevenage, we kind of ruled them out, really, didn't we, with our draw against them. But they take on Barnsley, who we played on Saturday, Kev. Having watched those last couple of games, who are you thinking? How are you thinking that's going to go?
I expect a reaction from Barnsley.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I feel they're going to be in the playoffs, so the manager will be sort of like, well, they lost 2 games away from home now. He won't want to lose 3 because obviously in the playoffs, one of the games are away. So I'm sure he'd want to keep that good record, and I would have loved to have been in their change room after this game because although we played well, I didn't think they played particularly well.
I don't think he was happy with some of the refereeing decisions in his post-match conference.
What manager is though?
No, true.
I mean, I must admit, the penalties when people,
No, but you're talking about little moments in games, and I felt we had the majority of the play of the game, so I don't think he's complaining too much.
We've got more of your WhatsApp messages coming through. We've got Davo watching at 1 o'clock in the morning in Thailand, where it's 30 degrees there. Harrison watching from Bangkok at the top of the Hangover 2 hotel after a night out. It's 37 degrees and 1 a.m, so that's all right. And we've got a question from Jack here. Curbs, I'm a Charlton fan. I was at a game in 2006 and I clapped you as you walked past me and you looked at me. Do you remember that? Can you imagine? Yeah. Jack, can you remember what the scoreline was that day? Was Curbs in a good mood? Was he a smiley Curbs?
No, it might have been, I was just leaving.
But do keep your WhatsApp messages coming in because, we're really pleased to read them and to get through them as well. Now, we have a bit of an ask for you as well at home because it's time to get voting. Alfie May has been shortlisted for the PFA Player of the Month award for March. The poll is now open and you can vote for our number 9 by visiting the Charlton website. The striker scored 4 goals and provided an assist during the month as Nathan Jones' side continued their unbeaten run. May remains at the top of the 2023-24 League One top scorers chart with 23 league goals to his name already in his debut season with the Addicts, as well as a further 4 across all competitions. The 30-year-old is up against Will Amerson from Exeter City, Aaron Cashin from Derby County, Jack Mullane from Lincoln City, Marlon Pack from Portsmouth, and Joe Taylor from Lincoln City as well. Curbs, Alfie got another brace on Saturday. He's been the definition of outstanding, hasn't he?
He must have been sitting in a dugout when the other penalty came up, thinking, that's my hat-trick. No, he's done fantastically well, and even when I think Nathan played him out on the wide right because he wanted to play Ladapo and Kanu down the middle, bit of pace. But, if he's going to go for 2 out-and-out pacey strikers up top, and he keeps this system, then Alfie's the perfect number 10. It's interesting because he's going to be playing up top again tonight, and I think he's so clever. He could play in any position really, but I think the problem that the team has got is they've got no one anywhere remotely near him, and that is the biggest problem, or any department that is anywhere near him. Like the back 4. How many goals have the back? If I was Nathan now, and I'm thinking, okay, everyone's been talking, and Brandy talks a lot about clean sheets, etc., etc. But who's going to get up there and help Alfie out? If he gets another 20 next year, then we need someone up there with him who's going to get 15, and that will make a big difference to the results. And I used to sit down every summer pre-season thinking that my back 4 should be getting about 10, and then the midfield I'm hoping to get at least 15, and then front boys whatever. And when we look at that way, no one's remotely near Alfie. So I think that's the big thing for next season. Can we bring people in that look as if they can get a goal?
Kev, we spoke about Alfie for obvious reasons in detail on Saturday. I think you said he's a very different striker to yourself and how you played your game. But what strengths do you really like? What qualities do you really appreciate as a fellow centre-forward?
He just seems, every time he seems to touch the ball, he seems to ooze confidence, and he always seems to have a second more than everyone else. And in doing that, he seems to always to produce good moments, really good moments. From the first time I watched him, he's got a calmness about him, and I think you spoke about it the other day. He's got a hunger about him. So he had 2 goals. It was the last 15 minutes, and he sprints back to tackle someone. Something that, as I said to you, I probably wouldn't want to do at 30 years old on a hat trick.
I'm looking at him here, and he wants to get to the front.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, he'd bunk in if he could.
I think he's just got this real raw passion as well. And for those that know about his journey and the way that he came through the non-league ranks, I think there is something that's quite... I'm trying to think of the right word to describe it, but when you've gone through an academy system, and all respect to it, and everything's been given and tailored towards you, but when you've had that little moment where you've had to fight back and you've had to sort of earn your contracts and earn your chance in a professional environment, I'm sure you savour every minute of it, and it's moments like that prove it.
He looks to me as if, you know, he appreciates everything, you know, even at his other clubs, but I think he's come here and gone, yeah, you know, the stadium, the training ground, he comes from this area, you know, I think that everything has fallen into place, and he's had a fantastic season. He won a London award as well. I was there. I was there that night, and I didn't know he was going to get the award, but he ended up getting the award, and great. And he might get another couple before the end of the season. I just think that Nathan, his previous clubs and the way he wants to play, I think he's got a little bit of a dilemma. I'm not being funny, but I think he's got a little bit of dilemma with Alfie, right? Because I think, as I've said earlier, his previous sides, especially Luton, very, very athletic, very aggressive and whatever. But he's got to find a place for someone who scores 20 goals a year.
For 3 seasons in a row at this level, which isn't easy, is it, Curbs?
Yeah. So, you know, it may be Nathan's thinking about, you know, where is the best position. And if it ain't as a out-and-out striker, then it's got to be as a number 10. But that means he's got to play 4-3-3 or 3 at the back and 2 strike or whatever, you know.
But if he produces the finishes like he did on Saturday, it will certainly give Nathan lots of things to think about. So look, please go and vote for Alfie for that PFA award. It's been shared on the club's website and the social media channels as well. And there's also another opportunity for you to vote for your player of the season, because, I can't believe I'm saying it, it's that time of year, it's time to cast your votes for your men's and women's player of the year. The ceremony is coming up shortly. It's going to take place on Sunday, April the 28th, following the last women's game of the season that day against Southampton. So do go and cast your vote. Who would you guys vote for?
We just spoke about it.
I felt like it was a very loaded question. Okay, so Alfie will get your player of the year, but young player of the year is probably arguably a little bit more contested, because it's been such a fantastic season.
Win that as well.
No, he's in my age bracket, so I can definitely say that he won't be in that category.
I think you're looking at Anderson for me.
Yeah.
I think the last game he played, it was unbelievable, and I think we struggle when he's not in the team. Obviously making the Jamaican international team as well, that's a massive coup for him and his families, and it shows the work that he's done to be even included into that squad. And I think he's come one of those players in this. I think we've got 4 people in that team who have to play every week, and I think he's one of those now.
That's a huge compliment to him, isn't it?
Yeah.
For such a young man.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that we have had a lot of young players come into the side this year, and some of them found it a bit tough. But I think Nathan's got a soft spot for him. You know, as I say, he likes that athleticism, and you know, I think it's up for him now to stake a claim a little bit.
Did you ever have any soft spot for any particular players, Curbs?
Yeah.
Couple? Any spring to mind?
Yeah, only a couple.
I mean, if Alan Curbishley's got a soft spot for you, that is about the biggest compliment you could be paid in your career.
Soon win.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, you make a good point. Karoy has flourished under the management of Nathan Jones, and knowing the kind of manager he is, he likes to make individuals better as well as that team structure as well. Some more of your WhatsApp messages coming through. Cheering on the mighty Reds from sunny Sidcup tonight. Hope the boys can do the business and make me feel like I'm watching Kevin Lisbie score a hat-trick against Liverpool again. Up the Charlton. Love that message. Thank you so much for sending that in. Hi all. Currently 10 degrees here in Suffolk. You can't pick Alfie, so who else do you think's scoring tonight? Who do you reckon could get on the score sheet tonight?
Can he? He's not scored in a couple of games now, is it? So yeah, I think his work rate for the team has been unbelievable. I think he's due a goal. I think he deserves one. So hopefully.
Who would you like to see score?
Hector or Gillespie?
A defender. Come on. Oh, wouldn't that be? We got a direct free kick on Saturday, Curbs. You should have seen me. I was wild in celebration, our first of the season. Yeah, okay, fine. Corner, defender, let's make it happen. Now, we've been talking a lot about how our form has improved. 11 unbeaten under manager Nathan Jones. So we want to use this opportunity to take a look back to our January transfer window, where there was a lot of activity, and assess the new recruits and the part that they have played in the last couple of months. So let's take a look at some of the players. And we're going to start with Thierry Small, and as soon as I say his name, there's a big smile on my face because he actually joined in February. He came straight into the team. His running stats are incredible. He has been outstanding, hasn't he?
Yeah, and another player I think who has appreciated the opportunity, you know, and you know I always like angry and hungry players who really have to come in and every day prove to the manager that they should be in the team or in the squad at least. And he's one of them, I think.
Flourishing with every 90 minutes he plays. Let's move on now to Connor Coventry, who perhaps took a couple of games to really hit his stride and establish himself in the team, Kevin. But he's really come into his own, and it's not a surprise to many that our unbeaten run has coincided with him having that run in the team.
Similar to Alfie May, I think he's got that quality as well. He sees pictures a lot quicker, and he's quality in those final areas. And I think he does a lot of work that goes unnoticed. He's one of those players that will do certain things and you won't notice it unless you're watching the game live. But I like his quality. I think he's similar to Alfie May, and for me, he's been a great signing.
We'll move on next to Macaulay Gillespie, who you want to see get a goal tonight, Kerbs.
Well, him or Hector.
Him or Hector.
Yeah.
But he produced a lovely little assist in Alfie's goal on Saturday. A centre-back with a lovely left foot. Really makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about, you know, we've had lots of recruitment over the last couple of seasons, but the ones that we're talking about have really come through. And, you know, he took a little bit while. And another player, I think, who's looked at it, because we signed him, you know, paid a fee or whatever, and I think has looked at it and think we've got a chance. You know, they're not coming here to do us a favour, you know. And
he commanded a considerable fee as well, didn't he?
Absolutely. Same as Coventry, you know. So congratulations to the board because you know they've spent some money and they've spent it wisely on these two.
And moving on now to Romani Edmonds-Green, who has, I think the word that I feel when I think about his impact, it's the versatility and perhaps some composure in our defence as well, Kev.
He reminds me of Andy Todd. He reminds me of Andy Todd. Really aggressive, like to step out with the ball. He's got a good composure as well. He's one of those defenders I wouldn't like playing against. He seems like he's up for the battle, and if you're a striker that likes to step in and get the ball, he'll go with you. And I don't think most strikers like that. So yeah, I think he's another great signing and one that has done well this season as well.
Finally, Kane Ramsey, who returned from injury at the weekend. Fantastic to see him back playing. Another player, Curbs, that gives us something a little bit different.
Yeah, and I think versatility. I think Nathan, some of the players he's got, he knows he can rely on, and he knows he can put them in. If he asks them to do a job on a Saturday, they do it. And I think he's one of them. You know, that sometimes you have to take care of the opposition or the best player in the opposition, and whoever you're going to put to omit that player, you've got to have faith in he's going to do it. And I think that's a couple of signings that Nathan's got. He can do that.
When we assess that chunk of activity that went over and on in that transfer window, arguably it was the first one that the new board and the new ownership had under their belt. Do you think that's a sign of encouragement that Charlton supporters can have moving forwards? Because we reflect on it as quite a successful window.
And I think also Nathan, and I'm not sure if this is true of all the managers, but I think he's going to have a bit bigger input. I think because of where he's come from, I think he could make them demands a little bit, you know, when he come into the club. You know, he's not going to get all his own way. No one ever does. But I think he's got a view. He's been in this league before. He knows a lot of the players. So I mean, I'm really looking forward to the summer window. But we can't forget how many players we've got here, and we've got players out on loan as well, and etc. etc. So yeah, there's going to be. I've been calling for a little bit of stability, but I just think there's going to be a lot of movement in the summer, and then it needs to settle down.
The squad is massive, isn't it? So it's going to be about cutting that as much as anything. Kevin, it was a busy transfer window, but seeing how well those permanent signings have settled in is really, really good. We were off air on Saturday talking and comparing how Charlton are doing now with how Portsmouth did last season. The new manager came in, they got a lot of draws, but it was almost that foundation for how they've gone on to next season. Can you see any comparisons between us and them?
Yeah, I feel the managers He's identified the players, as Curb said, and they seem to be buying into what he's asking them to do. And the club and the players and the team are feeling the rewards from it. And I totally agree with you. I think next season it's going to be a completely different team. Certainly not players, but in terms of confidence and style of play. And I feel like next season we should, or we'll be one of the teams challenging for it.
Certainly hope so, hey. Just a quick reminder for those of you watching on YouTube or on Twitter as well, that you can purchase your match streaming pass for £10 by visiting the club website. It's a midweek game, which means that we can stream across the UK and worldwide, so you can hear from Kevin and Curbs at half-time, post-match, and be the first to hear from the manager, Nathan Jones, as well. Let's get through some of your WhatsApp messages, because they are coming through thick and fast, and they're wonderful to read. We've got a message from Len saying, a cool 11 degrees in Bognor, come on you Reds. And we have a message here from Neil. Kevin, I remember when we beat Chelsea away, midweek game, you scored well late on to clinch the win. We all went mental, so much so I managed to lose my car keys, had to get a cab home, get the spare key and get the cab to go back so I could collect the car, as I had to drive up north. You cost me a fortune.
Corner.
Even when I score, I cause problems.
It was a header from the corner, wasn't it?
Yeah, last minute, yeah. I scored another goal for Charlotte. It weren't just a hat-trick then. So
no, there we go. We can talk about another one of your goals finally. Thank you so much, Neil. It was getting a bit boring talking about that hat-trick, wasn't it? Hello from a sunny Serbia, 28 degrees. It felt like Malaga. Come on, you Reds. Let's keep that run going. That's from Milan. Jenny, who's watching in Orlando in Florida. Beautiful 80 degrees today. Let's bring the tone down a bit, shall we? Back to the kind of day that we had from Ashley watching in a wet, chilly Somerset. It's the first home game that Ashley has missed all season. I'm really sorry to hear that, but hopefully here on Charlton TV we can keep you company and make sure that you are able to access it all as well. Tony's messaged in as well, 18 degrees in California. Just got back from my first visit to England for years, saw my first live game in 9 years. The Stevenage game. I am so sorry for you. I'm so sorry. Because that was one that we can all just say, we'll take the clean sheet, we'll take the point, and we'll move on. But yeah, it's brilliant to hear from you all. So do keep your WhatsApps flying in. It's brilliant to see. Just bringing things back round to today, because Curbs, Wigan are going to be a tough test. I mentioned at the very start, they've done well to overcome the obstacle of that points deduction. I think there's a lot of talk about that in the mainstream media at the moment with what Everton and Nottingham Forest are going through. They've gotten over that hurdle, but in the last few weeks, their form on the road hasn't been particularly strong.
No, and it's another club, not similar to ourselves, but they count themselves as a big club, previous Premier League club. And they've lost their way for whatever reason, over the last couple of years they've lost their way. And then get hit with that points deduction, that makes a big thing mentally, I think, as well. But I wish this was a Saturday game, so I think they would have brought a few more fans. We'd have a few more fans here. It's a little bit disappointing, but we're going back to